30, how my perfect 20-year marriage abruptly came to an end.
I watched that 30-part story so you don't have to. So that's Rock, and he's been married to his wife for 20 years. He was working at a suit warehouse.
Hold on. Hey, she saved me, bro. 'Cause when I saw that 30, I'm like, bro, I'm about to be here for 2 hours, bro. She came and said, I summarized it. I said, thank God. Thank God. But hey, man, I got another Dusty story time for y'all. I ain't heard it yet, but I just know it's Dusty. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard it. This is my first time, so I'm watching it with y'all. So if it's trash, hey, you got to get on the person who sent it. You feel me? But hey, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all for too long. Grab y'all some water, whatever it is y'all doing. Y'all watch my video. Let's get to it.
House with his father. She walked in with her father trying to buy a suit. He thought she was cute, so he got her number off the alteration card that they leave and called her the next day saying, hey, the suit is ready. She ended up coming to pick up the suit, and he was so excited, so he got her information, took her out on a date, and lo and behold, an entire relationship begins. So one day she looks him dead in the eyes and says, are you sure you want to get married to me? Because I have some serious problems. And he was like, what do you mean? I love you. Like, we've been having a great time getting to know each other. Of course I want to get married to you. They get married June 5th, 2000, which is actually the same date that they met. The same year that they get married, and she finishes school, and they decide like, hey, let's do like a AmeriCorps. And so they move to California. They have a fabulous time in San Jose. And at the same time, her sister gets married to a famous gospel Christian singer and moves to Tennessee and starts pressuring the rest of the family to move over there as well. So they decide to go visit. They love it, so they move. So initially when they move to Tennessee, they actually move in with her parents, and you know, they have a really good relationship with her parents, so it really works out in the beginning. But he starts to notice that something's wrong with his wife, and her behavior is kind of wrong. She's already a people pleaser, but it's kind of like over the top now, and even the family's noticing something's off. They're trying to ask her what's going on, and she's not really giving too much information. One night it all comes to a head when they're all in the room together, and she brings out all this documentation about him having like weird sexual like preferences and doing weird things, and she's just like going on, and the husband's trying to talk to her. Parents decide, we're gonna go take her to the hospital and admit her. She's going back and forth in the hospital like, I'm not gonna get treated unless he does, so he agrees. She goes there, they finally admit her. He goes home. Next day he decides, you know what, I cannot deal with this is way too much. He decides he's gonna pack his bag, put all his stuff in his car, and leave. And he's not gonna look back. So he calls his brother, tells him what he's gonna do, and that night it ended up being really late, so he goes to sleep. The next day he comes outside, his car is repossessed. Fast forward, he gets the money, he gets the car out. That same time, his wife gets released from the hospital, so he goes and picks her up. She immediately, once she gets in the car, mind you, she had him pick her up from around the back, so she jumps in the car, and off rip is like, oh, I met a doctor and a nurse that like completely understood what I was going through. They agreed with me, like it was wrong that I was admitted, and they actually like snuck me out and brought me out to the back, and like that's why you had to meet me in the back of the hospital. And he didn't even think to like ask questions or go inside to like talk to the doctor. He felt like it was his fault because he wasn't like financially stable at the time, and they were living with her parents, and like things were so stressful. Like in reality, like he's now in hindsight thinking like, oh, she was probably on medication that like made her sound clear and concise and like made sense that time when she got into the car. But realistically, he probably should have gone and talked to the doctors. So at this time in Tennessee, her sister's actually building a church with the gospel singer husband, and they're both getting involved in the church. The husband and wife are like, you know, starting to become leaders. They end up getting into some type of like network marketing kind of like opportunity that the church ended up offering, and they start making money as well. Her sister is already married to a millionaire. Her other sister ends up marrying another gentleman who also starts to make good money. So he's no longer feeling like the broke brother-in-law. Like they have their first house in Tennessee, they have their first child, like things are looking up. And it's been a while since that first episode happened. Every time she goes manic, he kind of knows what's going on. She's going to become overly talkative. She's going to be very hypersexual. So he's kind of aware, and he just feels like the hypersexuality is like a reward for having to deal with the things. And like he kind of says, like in hindsight, like that's probably not the best way to have thought about it. But so the church was like a
crazy. Oh, she having a manic episode. Oh, I'm finna get cheeks. That's crazy. But it said that was the exciting part. That's crazy. Yeah.
prosperity church, and they believe like the mother, the wife, she shouldn't work, the husband should be providing completely. So he was like, okay, like I agree with you, like you can go ahead and quit. She didn't really like her job anyway, and so they start to like try to make this happen on only his income. He found out it was going to be kind of hard because they had increased their expenses by a lot, so they end up deciding like they're going to downgrade. At the same time, the brother-in-law that is a Christian gospel singer gets an opportunity to do a Bravo reality show and accepts. The same day that they're moving out of the house, the Bravo cameras show up like action, and they spin this whole narrative on the show talking.
Hey, y'all Google what gospel artist was on Bravo so we can know who this is. I'm thinking it probably was Dietrich Hatton. It sounds like this is something he would be involved in. Half all of them fake anyway.
About, oh, you're keeping it from the family that you're moving out. Like, they blow it out of complete proportion, and the family like starts to really stress out the wife, and she ends up having more episodes, and they just decide, you know what, I think our time in Tennessee is over. Let's pack up, let's move for a third time, let's go to Texas. The show creates a lot of animosity within the family, so she decides like she's not going to talk to them anymore. They start to offer olive branches, trying to get them to come on to the second season. They finally agree. They're like, you know what, if the season ends up doing well, like, we'll make some good money too. So they go on the second season, ends up being a complete shit show, same as the first. This time she's like, I'm really done, we're not doing the third season, don't even ask us, we're moving on. Now they are doing like segments on CBS. They had like a workshop that they were touring around the nation about like being ideal husband and wife and how to make marriage work. So they're getting a little bit of buzz around their name. All of a sudden the mother gets sick. Everything comes to a halt. They pack up the bag, they pack up the kids, and they head to Tennessee to go check on the mother. He says little did he know that was going to be the last time his family was a family unit, and that him and his wife were a couple. So at this time, it's actually January 2020. It's been a year since the Bravo show wrapped up. At this time, they have 3 kids now. The wife at this time is still no contact with the family. She's not even willing to be in the same room while the sisters are there too. She's being like massively petty about the whole situation. The mother ends up pulling through and being fine. So as they're heading back, he starts to notice like something's really off with the wife, and that she's like acting very like, let's say another episode coming on. So at the time, he was working a 9-to-5, and he was working for Uber as well. And he gets calls from the kids blowing him up like, hey, where's mom? Where's mom? We're hungry. And he's like, what do you mean, where's mom? Like, she should be at home. So he calls the mother. She's not answering. Let me go to my kid. Then he gets a call from the mom like, oh, everything's fine. Like, I have the kids. Like, the mom is like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I got him, right? So he goes back to working. Then he's like, okay, I'm going to end work early. I'm just going to go back to the house. So he heads back to the house and realizes like, where are the kids? No one's home. After he's already gone to like the ER to see if she's there, he's gone to all these other places. He finally decides to go back home, and she pulls up with the kids at the same time. The kids run out. It's like midnight. He's like, where have you been? The kids like have school in the morning. She's like talking in a whisper because she had a cold over the weekend. She's like, I'll talk to you later. So they spend the rest of the night after the kids go to sleep like arguing about where have you been, and then she's just like not trying to give him answers. She ends up going into the bathroom, and she's making weird noises in the bathroom, screaming from 2 a.m. until like the next morning. She comes out the next morning as if she just like took an overnight bath, and then like I said, she gets super hypersexual during these times. So that happens, and at that time they start doing their thing, and he climbs on top of her, and she grabs him by the balls, and he's screaming and screaming, let go. She won't listen. So he tells her, if you don't let go, I'm gonna smack you. And she doesn't let go. She actually clamps down harder, and so he smacks her, and she releases. At this point, the children wake up. They're trying to figure out what's going on. So he gets the kids ready for school, tries to get them together, and then all of a sudden from the room he starts screaming and yelling, and he's just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So he goes to check on her, and she's just charging at him. First he called his brother, and his brother's like, oh, you know what, like this is definitely a case for the paramedics. This is like a level 10 episode. So he calls the paramedics. They're like, what's going on, sir? Like, we'll head over. She's banging on the wall, she's going crazy in the room. All of a sudden he gets a knock on the door. He tries to walk to the door and open it. It's the police, and the police is like, what's going on? So they try to help calm her down. They end up giving her a shot and sedating her, along with the paramedics being there. Mind you, she's naked in the room. Like, they were just about to have some nasty time. They put her on a stretcher, restraining bands to the stretcher, and she takes off her ring and chucks it at him, and she's like, I'm about to divorce you. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll see you at the hospital. He shows up at the hospital. He talks to several officers explaining exactly what happened. They tell him like, we were informed that you raped her, you R-word her, and that's why she's in here. She got uncontrollably smacked, she went unconscious. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, that never happened. Like, trying to clear up the whole story. He's like, where's my wife? I have a bag for her. They're like, that's weird that you have a bag of clothes. Usually abusers don't do something like that. So they're trying to piece together the story. He's asking where the wife is. He's like, the wife has been released a long time ago. Mind you, he was at the hospital for hours answering all these questions for the cops. So he's like, there's no way you let her go. Where is she headed? They're like, oh, I think she's headed to go pick up the kids. He's like, absolutely not. Officer's like, well, I need to take pictures of your house, so we need to go back to your house. So he heads back to the house. At the same time, the wife pulls up. They're taking pictures. The wife gets to get her clothes. She leaves. He has no idea where she's going, what's about to happen, nothing. Then, before he can collect his thoughts or anything, CPS knocks on the door and is like, we've heard that you've been touching the children inappropriately. We're gonna have to open up an investigation. They take the children. They do a forensic investigation on the children as well, clear the children, give them back to the father. After that day, he doesn't hear back from the wife for over a month. So he just got into a routine with the kids, taking them to school, picking them up. And one of the
It sounds like a girl with demon possessed. I ain't even gonna lie to you. She need an exorcism.
children finds an old iPad, and when he turns on the old iPad, all of her text messages start coming through, and he starts seeing how bad that she's talking about him, how she's about to come home one day and pick up the stuff while they're gone. She comes home, she clears out her stuff. The kids are like, what happened to mommy? Where's mommy? We want to talk to mommy. A week after that day where she picks up the stuff, she calls him and is like, can I sing to you and the children? Like, I want to talk to the children. The children are like, where are you? Where have you been? Like, what is going on? Mind you, she's talking all this shit to other people about her husband, not knowing that CPS has already closed the case and said that he's the victim of the violent event. So she just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get him. The husband calls his brother to come down. The father comes down as well, and they're just like, let's go talk to your wife, let's see what's happening. She meets with them. She says that the husband beat her and gave her a traumatic brain injury, and she's like, I'm not willing to see him. They're like, okay, well, are you willing to see the kids? Like, let's meet. She's like, okay. So they meet at a mall. He said that she like basically popped out of the bushes, acting super weird. They hang out for a little bit, then they get back into the car. The kids are just excited to have seen her. They haven't seen her in over a month. Starts to become a regular thing that she's calling, talking to the kids. He's just happy. He just wants the best for the kids. The father and the brother leave, so he's back with the kids by himself. He's like, well, she came over to the house to see the kids while my brother and my father was here. Maybe she'll come over now. Maybe this was a step in the right direction. She's like, the only reason why I came to the house was because your brother and your father was there. I'm not willing to come over there while you're there. Like, I'm not doing it. She's like, I do want to see the kids though, so can you arrange for one of your friends to have exchanges with me and like let me see the kids? He's like, okay, no problem. Arranges that. She starts to see the kids on a weekly basis. She asks if she can have the kids for spring break. He agrees, but records her saying like, I'm gonna bring the kids back after spring break. Obviously, after the week is over, she doesn't bring the kids back. And actually, the day that the kids left with a friend, because she didn't even come pick them up, she sent a friend. He is watching the kids drive off, and a guy walks up to him and goes, you've been served. And he goes in the house, and it's divorce papers. So he's like, I'm so glad I recorded her saying that she's gonna bring the kids back, because I'm realizing now she's gonna divorce me. She's gonna try to keep the kids now. Then he finds out that the kids are not even going back to school because it's COVID now, so they're going to be homeschooled. And he decides that he needs to go on YouTube, start figuring out like how to go about a divorce correctly. So he starts to get information about that, starts building a pretty good case about her and like why she's not a good parent or a fit parent, and starts recording everything. He even tries to like follow her one day when he finds out about a doctor's appointment that's canceled that she doesn't know is canceled. He tries to pull up and like figure out where she's living. It doesn't work. His friend tells him like, just get a tracker so you can figure out where she's living, because at this point, mind you, while the kids are with the mother, he has no idea where she's living. He tracks her, he puts a tracker in the kid's toy, figures out she's staying at a shelter at that time. He adds that to the pile of evidence that he has. They start exchanging the kids on a routinely basis. They meet at a police station, they exchange the kids, and they keep that going for a while until they head into mediation. One of the days was actually their 20th anniversary that they exchanged a kid, and he mentioned something like, isn't it sad that these are the circumstances on our 20th anniversary? And she basically kind of just like took the flowers and threw it, and he knew based on the way she threw the flowers into the car, the relationship was over. There was no chance of any redemption, but he was saying he felt kind of delusional even thinking there was hope. He even saw on Instagram that she was wearing like super sexy outfits and like out in Florida traveling. He had no idea that she was traveling and just felt like she was probably with another man. And at the time he was also seeing somebody, so it really just like started to hit him that his 20-year relationship was really over. He ends up finding out when he reaches out to his brother to get some more support, like that his brother actually had cancer, and like even during the time that he came to visit him, he was really sick. So he just wishes his brother well and is like, I'm gonna have to hunker down and deal with this divorce on my own. Then he gets another call from CPS saying that another claim has been put in and that the kids have to be taken away until the investigation is done. So the kids get taken away. The investigation gets put underway once again. Of course, the same allegations were found to be untrue. The children are returned, and he collects that information for the divorce as well. At this point, he realizes I have to get full custody. So during mediation, the mediator tells him, you don't have to agree to anything. Like, we can figure this all out in court. So he decides, I'm going to be a hard ass. I'm not going to agree to anything. So they head into their first divorce hearing, and they each have witnesses. Her witnesses come up first, all saying like she's amazing, she's a great mother, she's always with the children, she's the one that takes care of them, like the children should be in her custody, like basically just like edifying the hell out of her. One of the witnesses that the mother had brought up was a friend that picked up the kids time to time and took care of them and was named like the godparent. And one day when the father was heading over to take the kids to the godparents, the son mentioned that he didn't feel very safe there. So the father mentioned something to the godparent and was like, hey, my son doesn't feel safe. She was like, we treat everybody the same, like I don't know what's wrong with you. And then he dropped them off and then just kind of felt uneasy, so he ended up going and picking up the kids. But before he did, he called his friend, and his friend was like, you know, take a cop with you over there. So he did. The friend got really agitated, real loud mouth, saying like, you're this, you're that. He was glad that the cops were there. He picked up his kids, he took them home. And so the witness, when she was brought up to speak on behalf of the mother, she was asked about that situation, like what happened, and she was like, he was cool, calm, and collected, even though I was going at him. And so he was like, oh my god, I think that will help my case. And his witnesses came up. His witnesses were his friend, the one that was helping him, you know, doing the whole tracking situation, and then also his ex-wife. His ex-wife was his other witness. Whole time he's nervous as hell, listening to these conversations, listening to these testimonies. His friend comes up there and says the day after the entire incident happened that he actually went to the hospital to check on the wife, because they're mutual friends with the husband and the wife. And the wife was actually like trying to come on to him and say, don't you want to be together, don't you want to be with me, like all these things. And the husband's like jaw is on the floor, like, my wife tried to come on to you, like this is the first time I'm hearing anything. Of course, the friend says that the husband is the one that always watches the kids, he's the primary caregiver, he should be awarded custody. The wife comes up there and the lawyer immediately asks her, like, did you have an altercation with the police the next day after the episode that happened at the house where you got taken away on a stretcher? And she's like, how did you know? Like, she has like a whole like surprised look. She didn't know that he was looking through the iPad and like figured all that out, that she had an altercation. Just basically shocked everybody. The wife is just like, her jaw's on the floor. He wants them to go to school in his neighborhood that he moved to after, you know, he realized that the relationship was going to be over. He moved to lower his cost, and the school district was actually really good. The kids could go to school on a bus, and her situation was going to be a lot worse, especially knowing that she didn't live in the same district but was claiming to. They brought that up too during the divorce hearings. And so he's like, well, the lawyer asked the wife, like, isn't it true that you live in a shelter? And she's like, jaw on the ground again, like, how did he know that? Like, doesn't know that the whole tracking situation happened. So she's like, yes, I live in a shelter, this is true. The judge is just sitting there like, okay, I'm starting to get a full picture here. The lawyer ends up asking the wife, like, okay, based on the altercation that you had with the police the day after the altercation that you had with your husband, don't you think that whole fight with the police is probably would give you a traumatic brain injury and not the situation with your husband when he smacked you? And she's just like gobsmacked, like, I don't really know. So the wife is asked to like get off the stand. She doesn't have to testify anymore. Mind you, this whole thing's happening over Zoom because obviously it's COVID, right? He's in the lawyer's office. The lawyer's like chain smoking her life away. He's like dying, nervous, smelling all this smoke. And then the third and final witness gets called, and he's thinking like, man, I should have had more people, because she had like 6 people come through. His final witness comes up, and it's the sister of the wife, who she obviously has had no contact with, and she is about to start speaking, and the lawyer's like looking for paperwork, and the judge goes, you know what, I've heard enough, I'm ready to give my order. Lawyer is like shuffling through things, smoking her cigarette, not paying attention, and just fires off a question and goes, does your sister have a history of mental illness? And then the sister goes, yes she does. And the judge goes again, hey, I've heard enough, I don't need to like hear this woman's testimony, get her off the Zoom. So they get the sister off the Zoom, and the judge goes on to say some things that the husband doesn't understand. It goes over his head. The judge smacks his gavel down, and he looks at the lawyer, and he's like, what is all this jargon? What does it mean? And he goes, you won, you got the kids, like, you did it. And it's like the most bittersweet moment, because it's like, yeah, my family's ripped apart, my marriage is over, but I've got the kids. I'm gonna make this easiest for everybody. Like, I'm gonna work hard to like make everyone happy. But it just killed him inside, knowing like, you know, he just altered his entire family. But that's basically what happened. 30 parts. You guys tagged me a bunch in this. I hope I did you proud, Rock. He gave me the green light to share this story with you guys. If you guys have any other stories you want me to do, let me.
Alright, well, I righteously don't know even what to think of that. That's just a crazy story. There's just a lot to gather here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about the video in the comments, man. Y'all keep sending. If y'all got story times y'all want to tell, send them to my Instagram. I got y'all. I don't be charging none of that for y'all to get on my channel. You will get posted if you send it to me. Believe that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. See you guys next video. Always remember, be safe with the kings and queens. Let's get it.